Hello everybody. So yeah, I said I was gonna do this a really long time ago and then I didn't. But that's okay because don't worry, I checked. Nothing has happened since December. Hello, I'm Joff. I go by Yoscore. Welcome to my demolition lover's ass color palette here. I promised an album of the year discussion at the end of 2025. We're now over a quarter into 2026. There's a decent explanation for that. I have been so unmotivated, demotivated, I don't know what the word would be, regarding making specifically YouTube videos. Shameless plug, I talk about it on my website at length, and I do think it's a pretty good read. I'm still writing pretty often. I write a lot more often than I do any other kind of media. That being said, writing specifically and just finally everything that I was feeling about YouTube as a platform, I think gave me the motivation I needed to just record something, and I think that's pretty cool. With that out of the way, let's talk music for once. So I'm going to break this down into a few categories. I use the platform Album of the Year to rate music. I tend to do it when there's a release that I think is significant, is when I'll hop on and actually write a review and rate something. We'll break this in. Firstly, singles I didn't rate that I think are really worth discussing, albums I didn't rate that I think are really worth discussing, and then singles I did rate, and then albums I did rate. I think there's only one in each single category. To start with singles I did not rate, Yungatita's Airplane Ears. I think Airplane Ears is such a fun song. The chords are so simple, but the grittiness, they got the tone perfect. I think Yungatita is just so good at making grounded music. It feels approachable, done in a way that feels like you're just listening to a bunch of friends record a song. I really, really appreciate that about the song. Also, I love that it's a song about cats, because I have too many. Now, into some albums I did not rate on Album of the Year. There's a good chance that these came out and I listened to them before I made an account on the website. All right, so Meleetah, friend of the channel, friend of me, Meleetah, Rebirth was so sick. It's so Meleetah, and I feel like I've said this on this channel a billion jillion times now, where I can hear a melody and I'm like, Meleetah wrote that. My favorite song off of that album is Meow Unplugged. Next, Momma's Welcome to My Blue Sky. The song I wrote down as my favorite is How to Breathe. How to Breathe is a calming, has a calming effect on me, and a lot of the album does. It is very much bordering on the alternative, kind of like the umbrella alt that got really, really popular over the past couple of years. Next, Akemie's Chem Possible. I'm going to go with Follow Me to Hell as my favorite. It is such a fantastic album opener. Shout out Akemie for, after I bought the album, checking me out and reaching out and being cool. And I get to fawn over your Instagram story now as you do the coolest shit imaginable. And that's an awesome person, and that's an awesome album, and that's an awesome track. Follow Me to Hell is so good. Next, My Six Fab, my GOAT, the Six Mix. This one's special. My is a very, very good friend to have in this space. But to keep it about the music, it was such a good little microcosm of the 2020s club revival. I think there's enough weird about it to keep it very hyper and very different, and keeps me going back to it instead of a Brat, which I feel is just more your average 2020s club revival album. I would more readily pick up the Six Mix over Brat. I think it gives me more. My favorite track off of this is I Want to Be Like That, I guess. So it's such a fucking banger. I don't get it. Everything about it, it's just so well produced, and the hook is so catchy. I could listen to that song forever. Genuinely forever. Next, Julien, Baker, and Torres, Send a Prayer My Way. I don't like country music even a little bit. I guess the way to make country music good is to make it gay, and this album is gay and it's amazing, and Sugar in the Tank was one of my favorite songs of the year. I'm not a great lyricist, so listening to these songs that like the words tear you apart, it does it for me. Career Woman's Lighthouse was one of my favorite albums of the year. I don't know why I didn't rate this an album of the year. More alternative, that kind of comes from like a Midwest emo sonic background. Career Woman, I'm pretty sure is from the West Coast, but the sound is very, very Midwest emo meets the alternative. Impossible or Boyfriends would have to be my favorite song. Piano Song is also very good. After this one, I will bring out my CD for After, the After EP. I was an early adopter. I pre-ordered this. I pre-ordered their debut EP. I was there before you, and you are late, and you're a poser. And I was there before you, and you're a poser. Now that they're famous, fuck you. I was there first. But I loved the entire EP. It was lovely. It just, oh my God, it just, on YouTube, I'm watched typically by people who are like half my age. For some context, I was born in March 2001. My birthday's March 19th. March 2001. Because of this, and I'm the youngest of 5 kids, because of that, I ended up having a pseudo 90s kid upbringing. So all like the Facebook millennial 90s kid posts I relate to very heavily. After just makes me feel all the things I felt when I was listening to like Natasha Bedingfield back then. It's a style of music that you had to have been there to recreate it. I feel I see people try to recreate this like Y2K core Frutiger Arrow music, which is a bad use of the phrase Frutiger Arrow. Fuck you. Same thing, if you go to the Frutiger Arrow subreddit, you see that a lot of people think it's just like throw as much shit on the screen as possible and put bubbles and maybe a fish in there. After, it is very much music by people who get it. People who were there for iOS 6. After is lightning in a bottle. It is pure fucking magic. My homepage on my 3DS is After's 300 Dreams, I'm pretty sure. My favorite song off the EP was 300 Dreams. And 2 singles I rated, there's one, and it's Daine's Make It Right. I rated it a 92 on Album of the Year. This is what I originally came to Daine for. Make It Right felt like an evolution of that sound, and I was really happy to hear it. Albums I've rated, there are a lot. Scowls are real angels. I love Scowl. I've loved Scowl for years. I found them right before the pandemic. I own a copy over there of Psychic Dance Routine, which I thought was a really interesting EP that a lot of Scowl fans didn't like, and a lot of Scowl fans did not like Are We All Angels. I did. My favorite track was Fleshed Out. I love that track. I love what the drummer does with the sticks. I think that shit is so sick. And I think people don't like it because Taco Bell picked them up, and then Psychic Dance Routine comes out, and then this comes out, and now it's in skate, and it's in video games, and people are really mean when their favorite artists, especially in hardcore, people are really mean when their favorite artists start making enough money to feed themselves, and I think that shit is lame as fuck, and if you are one of those people, you should probably, if you really have a problem with your favorite artists making enough money to support themselves in their art, I think you might be irredeemable. That's just me, though.
You need to leave!
Someone else might, talk to you like you're a person worthy of respect, but I'm not that person. Sorry. Next is Retirement Parties, Nothing to Hear Without a Sound. Oh my God! This was so good. More Midwest emo that is fucking sick. I rated this an 80. I don't know what I was thinking. Residual is probably my favorite track right now off of it. Pool Kids, Easier Said Than Done. I rated this an 80 as well. I don't think it was Pool Kids' best work. I missed their math rock era, I'm not gonna lie. But Perfect View, it's just a beautiful song. It feels like something I would make. And I think that's why I like it so much. And then Danny is such a moving track. You can feel the pain in his dick. That's how I feel listening to Danny. Coming in with a 95 is Flatroom's You Will Only Get Older. I think you won't be surprised that my 3 top albums of the year come from the hyperpop space. I hold these albums to a higher standard. I hold this genre to a higher standard because I think it's where the best innovation in music comes. I think hyperpop artists find a way to move you in ways that nobody else in music can. Album is lovely. I think the production is fantastic. I think the vocals are beautiful. I have listed a bunch of songs here apparently. I Don't Even Need, which is probably the one that has gotten the most playtime from me because of the end, and God, it's just so beautiful. You Just Had to Be There, which is the opener, and it's another album opener that just, no one does it like hyperpop artists do, digicore artists, whatever you want to call yourselves. See, I don't shy away from the hyperpop label. I think the hyperpop label is just fine, but people don't like it. Kill Your Competitor, it's a bouncy track, it's dancey, breaks up the rest of the album very well. Orange Show Speedway, I think, is the digicore recipe from like 2020 perfected. I have 2 100s. The first one is Oklou's Choke Enough. I truly believe this is a perfect album. I'm struggling for words to describe how I felt when I first listened to this album. I sing these songs to myself at my desk at work all day long. My favorite tracks are going to be Choke Enough, Harvest Sky, Blade Bird, ICT, Obvious, Thank You for Recording, Endless, and Want to Come Back. I think those are all perfect tracks. My next 100 is going to be Ninajirachi's I Love My Computer. I also gave this 100. It plays like a DJ set, and I really, really love that. I almost only listen to this album in order. I just play it. As I'm about to hop in the shower, I start from the first track, I play it. It's dancey. Clearly comes from someone who's out of the hyperpop space. You only get dance music like that from someone who comes from hyperpop, and there is a difference. A lot of people try to discredit this album by just calling it a house album. People try to discredit Nina by calling her a house artist. I don't think it's fair at all. I think you can very much tell in her production where she comes from, and I don't think a person who doesn't come from where she came from produces like that. So yeah, there you go. There's some of my favorite shit from 2025. I hope you enjoyed. I'll be around, but if you want to keep up with me, I'm a lot more active on my website, yoscore.online. I'm a lot more active on Instagram at yoscore. Hopefully this goes well. Hopefully this video doesn't look like dookie ass. This is going to be my first full-length video that I edited in DaVinci Resolve, so hopefully I don't suck. And yeah, have a nice Mother's Day. We're going to say this video is going to come out before Mother's Day.